Please welcome Hollywood medium Tyler Henry to the show. Good to see you again.
Oh, good to see you.
Thank you for coming.
Welcome back.
When I sit with a person, I just meditate. And when I meditate, I get into a certain state of mind where I'm almost hyper-receptive to any impressions that I feel. And these impressions come through physically, they come through emotionally, sometimes they'll even come through as memories that aren't mine.
For years, fans have suspected there was more to Tyler Henry's story than he was telling. As the star of Hollywood Medium, Tyler Henry built a career around answering some of life's biggest questions. But behind the scenes, questions about his own life continued to follow him, with fans wondering if there was a deeper truth he had never fully addressed. Now, at 30, Tyler Henry is finally opening up in a way he never has before. What has he confirmed after years of speculation? And why are his revelations changing how fans see his life and career? Join us as we uncover what Tyler Henry finally confirmed and why fans suspected it all along. The birth of a psychic. Tyler Henry's life seems to be on the brink of unraveling, and in what would seem like a first time, the mysterious Hollywood genius has finally come out to confirm everything fans had suspected all along. But just before we delve into the confession that changed everything, it's worth asking, who is Tyler, and how exactly does anyone develop the ability to speak to the dead? Speaking to the dead isn't exactly what anyone learns to do. No, it's a much more disturbing concept, which makes the 30-year-old even more fun to sci-fi freaks and a bit of a prick in the eye to religious folks. While his skill tends to divide regular people more than usual, one thing is certain: he was never ignored. But before the fame, the cameras, and the ascendancy into the Hollywood glitterati class, he was just a regular kid. Born January 13, 1996, Henry is a native of Hanford, California, a small rural city near Fresno. He graduated from Hanford's Sierra Pacific High School, but for some reason, he just never could focus on college. Consequently, he dropped out. For a while, it seemed that his life was heading in a completely different direction. But fate had other plans. Tyler did grow up in a conservative Christian home. He was fed church on Sundays and Bible study on Wednesdays in a healthy dose before he could even reach a shelf on his own. But when he turned 10, everything changed. Suddenly, a child who had been taught the concept of the unseen as a grindstone to sharpen his faith in the Christian God, found an awareness he could not understand at first. According to him, his family had never discussed spirits or mediums, yet he believed that he had just seen his grandmother die. But was any parent going to ever listen to a 10-year-old's claims? Yet, he was unbothered by what his mother would say. So he walked up to her to reveal what he saw. But before he could even speak, the phone rang, and his father broke the news of his grandmother's death. And just like that, his whole world took a new turn. But just how did his family react to this awareness? Was it a blessing or a curse? A curse, a blessing, and somewhere in between. It is tough enough to raise a child and set standards for them to meet. Yet, Henry's mother, Teresa Coylewin, always knew that she had her job cut out for her. Maybe the Christian values she was raising him in might have finally gotten her over the finish line in raising Tyler. Discovering that he was clairvoyant at 10 years old was not anywhere on her bingo card. How does a mother define reality and limits to a child who can speak to the dead? Who in the world would accept her as sane if she ever said it to them? The more she pried, the more questions she had. But while she seemed alone in her inquisitions, it only lasted until the world got to know about Tyler. Just like his mother, the world had questions and doubts about him. While some questioned his mental health, others claimed he had next-level tricks, and the world was yet to figure him out. But how does anyone question a backstory that starts as far back as the age of 10? But just before the world caught a glimpse of his talents, his mother learned to accept him. But how well did his conservative Christian father take the news? In an interview with CBS, the 30-year-old claimed that his mother wasn't particularly certain about her father's reaction if he ever knew about his gifts or if he would ever consider them as such. So, she kept it from him. She kept his abilities a secret from her father until he turned 16. She was concerned that he was scaring the kids at school. Teachers were starting to notice, and they lived in a small town where everybody was in everybody's business. Eventually, Tyler revealed the truth about his abilities to his father, including how he predicted his grandmother's death, a secret the mother had hidden from the father forever. At first, he had doubts. Like everyone else, he was skeptical and could not bear the thoughts of a clairvoyant son. Ultimately, he accepted him for who he was and saw this talent as a gift. However, his family accepting him was only a part of the story. As Tyler grew up, his gifts became stronger. The visions were more vivid, the messages were specific, and somehow he had developed into a full-blown psychic. But how long can a gift like that survive in a small town? He needed the space to grow bigger. But that was the problem. At first, his parents were torn between keeping his gifts away from the public and letting him test the waters with the public. But not much can be done to hide talent like that. And they knew it too. But just how did he fare in the public eye? And how exactly did he get his first stint in Hollywood? Tyler gets Hollywood attention. In Hollywood, nothing is ever deemed impossible. Whether it's 58-year-old Tom Cruise performing a motorcycle to base jump off the cliff in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, or Robert Downey Jr. transforming the Iron Man franchise into an A-list Marvel superhero movie. So if there was a kid who claimed he could speak to the dead, Hollywood welcomed him with open arms. But just before he got the Hollywood ball rolling, he made a bit of a name for himself at a local bookstore where he gave private readings to anyone who wanted it. Over the years, he built a reputation that spread like wildfire, and everyone wanted a piece of him. And in no time, he caught some really expensive attention. Hollywood insiders claimed he had private readings with top celebrities away from the cameras and impressed them in a way they did not think was possible. Sources speculated that they all had the same reactions. Who is this kid? And why has no one heard of him until now? But even as much as he had Hollywood already eating out of his palm, he was rarely in mainstream media until the mid-2010s. In 2015, he met with one of reality television's biggest names, the Kardashians. What better way to introduce himself to the world? The month was November 2015, when he met with Kim, Khloe, and Kara, explaining how his gifts really work to them. The general idea of how I do what I do is that I actually work as a clairvoyant, Tyler says. So I see information as opposed to audibly hearing it. I get visuals. Immediately, Khloe bought into the idea, telling him just how intuitive she could be, but Kim stayed silent, almost like she was waiting to catch him in a lie and unmask a fraud. But she couldn't be more dazzled when Tyler started speaking. First, he talked about seeing a tie so close to him he could smell it. Immediately, Kim loosened up and shared stories of her dad having hundreds of ties. Khloe claimed that she had his clothes, including jackets that she had never washed, and she often smelled them to give her a fresh fragrance of her late father. It was an eerie moment, where his gift came to life and shone on the biggest stage he had ever been at that point in his career. But it gets even darker when he tells them that their father timed his passing to perfection. He waited until everyone had said their goodbyes, watched them turn their backs, and then passed away. According to Tyler, it was a deliberate move to spare his kids from a trauma they might never recover from. But amidst the details about his life and death, Tyler delivered a shocking message about a window. He claimed that one of the Kardashian women was trying to reach a decision about a window in their house, and Robert just made a joke about it. Their mother, Kris Jenner, who has been listening, claimed the window change was an idea she hadn't floated to anyone, cementing Tyler's claims that Robert has indeed always been watching over the family. But while the Kardashians accepted him and were convinced of his gifts, viewers were divided. Some believed that he had a natural gift, but others speculated that he was another smooth operator. But chaos has always been a selling PR move in Hollywood. Consequently, he got his own show, Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry, and that was the birth of Real Scrutiny, a secret that changed everything. Just 2 months after his explosive reading with the Kardashians, the E! Network deemed him worthy of his own franchise. So, they created the hit series Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry. It wasn't long before the series exploded into mainstream media. Suddenly, top-of-the-pile Hollywood celebrities wanted a session with him, but it wasn't always because they trusted or believed in this gift of his. While some of these celebrities engaged him with an open mind and a bit of curiosity, others arrived as full-blown skeptics. However, he has somehow always left them wanting more of him. While he has had the Kardashians firmly in his corner, it was time that he built an empire of support beams around him, and the only way to do that was to risk more predictions. And this time, he had Jamie Presley in the hot seat, hitting her with a flash from the past. While the reading went on, he pulled out information he could never have had access to if she didn't tell him. He claimed he had a visual of a woman who gave him minute details about herself, with an emphasis on the name Brittany. Eerily, Jaime did confess to having a late friend called Brittany Murphy. And just like that, he won her trust, too. Yet fans had some really serious doubts about his personal life. Although he seemed to have access to everyone's business, fans noticed that he kept his personal life as far away from the cameras as possible. What exactly was he hiding? Also, if he really did have this gift, how much could his hidden background have actually played a part in it? For years, his gifts have often led him to the deceased members of other families around him, until his Netflix special, Life After Death with Tyler Henry, in March 2022. Before opening a can of worms about his mother, during his Netflix specials, he met Rob Gronkowski, an NFL player. Rob was naturally a skeptic, but he was ready to give Tyler a shot and see if he could actually speak to the dead as popularly advertised. However, Rob wasn't just by himself. He came with his partner, Camille Kostek. That way, he had upped the stakes and made the reading even trickier. But not for Tyler. In fact, he pointed out the deceased mutual friend, Dana, was the glue between the couple. And yet again, he had just brought a new celebrity into his corner. However, the stakes get even higher when his gifts led him to the bodies buried in his own backyard. Fans had always suspected that his upbringing possibly played a part in his career. However, when the fingers are pointed, it all leads to his mother, Teresa. But what makes Teresa's life so important in Tyler's world? And could fans have been right to suspect a pattern all along? The family secret, buried for decades. Critics had long speculated about Teresa's past and how she kept her sanity in check while raising a child who developed psychic abilities at 10. Did her background play a part in it, or was it just some natural talent? To fully understand Tyler, fans queried and dug deeply into his past, and nothing in the world could have prepared anyone for what they found. In fact, it runs deeper than just his own personal life. It stretches as far back as his mother, Teresa, and the woman he had always called grandmother. In a serious dig into his personal life, fans figured out that Teresa was not raised by her own real mother. But that wasn't the real kicker. The woman Teresa has always called Mother, Stella Guidry Nestle, was actually convicted of murder and sentenced to 2 concurrent life terms for torturing and unaliving people. Although she had only discovered in an at-home DNA test in 2019 that she had been raised under a lie as a kid, she waited 3 years before she revealed the truth about her life. Why wait that long? Was she scared it could have tampered with Tyler's Hollywood upward trajectory? In 2022, Teresa Kulowin claimed that she had indeed been raised by Stella. Although she claimed to be nothing like her, some fans speculated that her trauma as a child might have been passed on to Tyler, creating this freak of nature by accident. Think about it. Tyler was raised a psychic who could sense the dead, and for some reason, he never really got information about his real grandmother warning him about Stella. To most fans, it just didn't add up. If his gifts could reveal the truth about complete strangers, why was it suddenly dormant when it came to his own family? According to Tyler, he found it hard to have any real information about his family and their own problems because he was too distracted. Maybe his gifts only functioned when he had no emotional connection with the family or persons he was dealing with. But how did other critics feel about this analysis? However, not every critic fell in line with the rumors. Year after year, the PR mills went into overdrive, churning rumor after rumor. Although unconfirmed, some sources speculated that his gifts probably come from an unnatural operation in his brain. Fast forward to 2023. He confirmed everything fans had suspected all along, and no one saw it coming. The confirmation that changed everything. While Tyler has placed a veil between his personal experiences and his gift as a medium, exposure to the Hollywood lifestyle and the fame that came with it forced him to loosen his lips. And he confirmed something that fans have always suspected. In 2023, Tyler revealed that he went under the knife for brain surgery in 2014, just a few days after his 18th birthday. As expected, the fan base was divided, with skepticism being the real basis of every argument. Why did he never reveal that he underwent brain surgery in the same year he legally became an adult? If it really bore no consequences, why keep it from everyone? The questions were scathing, and critics demanded answers, almost like they had been waiting in the wings for that moment. But it gets even trickier for any Tyler enthusiasts to defend him when the science eggheads flooded the media with theories about the surgery. For context, the brain surgery in 2014 was a colloid cyst in the center of his brain, which was benign but also life-threatening. However, colloid cysts in the center of the brain are just as capable of affecting emotions, thinking ability, and even coercing their victims into thinking that they might possess psychic powers. To critics, the timing made absolute sense. Tyler had claimed that he first became aware of a plane beyond existence at the age of 10. Could the prediction about his grandmother's death be a flat-out lie? Or just a one-off beginner's luck? The theories were endless, and suddenly, it seemed that the foundation of everything he built was starting to unravel because of a brain surgery in 2014. But as the years passed, nothing really stuck. But fast forward to 2025, everything took a turn for the worse. Already, his sanity was subjected to questions by critics who could not simply move past one brain surgery. But what happens when Tyler reflects a need for a second brain surgery? In May 2025, he went under the knife for what would be the second time in his adult life to have a colloid cyst removed from the center of his brain. But was it a dangerous consequence of being a medium? Or is it why he actually excels as one? But in the midst of endless questions about his sanity, his team communicated the need for another surgery because of a suspected swelling in the same parts of his brain. For most fans, once is a mistake, twice is a pattern, but having 3 brain surgeries before 30 is definitely suspicious. Whether fans continue to pull on the repeated brain surgery thread or just let Tyler explore his gifts without more controversy, only time will tell. Do you think Tyler's gift might have been because of his recurring tumors? Is there a chance that critics have tried to oversimplify a phenomenon that they do not quite understand? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen.